Captain Reyes stood in the observation lounge of the UES Intrepid, staring at the ancient stone tablets displayed behind protective energy fields. The ship's xenorchaeology team had spent 3 months cataloging artifacts from the dead world of Kethmor, and these particular relics had become the subject of heated debate among the scientific crew. The translations are consistent across 17 different ancient languages, Dr. Sarah Chen explained, her voice carrying the excitement of someone who had made a significant discovery. Kethmorian, Old Zenthari, even fragments of Proto-Altarian. They all tell the same story. Commander Torres, the ship's tactical officer, shifted uncomfortably beside them. With respect, Doctor, you're asking us to believe in ghost stories. Ancient civilizations always had legends about cosmic boogeymen. Dr. Chen activated her holographic display, showing the translated text in glowing amber letters. These aren't random myths, Commander. Look at the specificity of the warnings. When the great dark stirs between galaxies, when the void singers wake from their eternal slumber, the star road shall burn and all light shall fail. This appears in identical form across cultures, separated by thousands of light years and millions of years. Captain Reyes studied the ancient warnings with growing unease. The Intrepid was part of humanity's deep space exploration initiative, pushing further into uncharted regions than any ship before. They had discovered dozens of dead civilizations, all apparently destroyed during the same approximate time period, roughly 50,000 years ago. What bothers me, Dr. Chen continued, is that every civilization we've found left these same warnings. The Kethmorians carved them into their deepest vaults. The Zenthari etched them into their moon. The Altarians embedded them in quantum crystals, designed to last millions of years. These weren't casual myths, they were desperate attempts to warn future civilizations. About what exactly? Torres asked skeptically. Void singers? What does that even mean? Before Dr. Chen could respond, the ship's communications officer interrupted over the intercom. Captain, we're receiving priority signals from Earth Command. Fleet Admiral Morrison requests immediate conference. Reyes made his way to the bridge, leaving the debate behind. The holographic image of Admiral Morrison materialized in the command center, her expression grim in a way that made Reyes's stomach tighten. Captain, we need you to investigate something in the void sector immediately. 3 days ago, our deep space monitoring station at Proxima detected massive gravitational anomalies at the edge of intergalactic space. What kind of anomalies, Admiral? The kind that suggests something extremely large is approaching from dark space. Something that's been traveling between galaxies for, well, we're not sure how long. Reyes felt a chill run down his spine. How large are we talking? Preliminary calculations suggest structures measuring in the hundreds of kilometers. Multiple contacts, moving in formation. Captain, we're sending you the coordinates now. You're the closest ship with sufficient sensor capability to get us detailed scans. As the transmission ended, Reyes noticed Dr. Chen had followed him to the bridge. Her face was pale, her hands trembling slightly as she clutched a datapad. Captain, she whispered, the coordinates Admiral Morrison just sent. They match exactly with the location specified in the Kethmorian prophecies. Gateway of stars, where the void singers would first emerge. Torres scoffed. Coincidence. Space is big, Doctor. Ancient civilizations couldn't possibly have known about specific coordinates in intergalactic space. Set course for the void sector, Reyes ordered, though Dr. Chen's words echoed in his mind. Maximum warp. And Doctor, I want you to compile everything we know about these ancient warnings. If there's even a chance they're connected to what we're investigating. 3 days later, the Intrepid dropped out of warp at the edge of known space. Before them stretched the vast emptiness between galaxies, an endless dark that had never known the light of stars. The ship's sensors immediately began detecting the anomalies Admiral Morrison had described. "Captain," the sensor officer called out, her voice tight with disbelief. "I'm reading multiple massive structures approximately 200 kilometers away. They're unlike anything in our databases." The main screen activated, showing the sensor feed. What they saw defied easy description. Vast, organic-looking structures drifted through space like cosmic jellyfish, their translucent surfaces pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. Each entity was easily the size of a small moon, and there were dozens of them moving in perfect formation. "Biological?" Torres asked, his skepticism replaced by awe. "Partially," the science officer replied. "I'm detecting both organic and synthetic components, seamlessly integrated. These things they're alive, but they're also machines." Dr. Chen stepped forward, her datapad showing ancient Keith-Maurian pictographs. The descriptions match perfectly. Singers of flesh and metal, vast as mountains, dwelling in the spaces between stars. "Captain, these are the Void Singers." Reyes stared at the impossible beings floating in the darkness. "How long have they been here?" "Unknown, sir. But based on their trajectory and current position, they've been traveling through intergalactic space for at least 50,000 years. The timeline clicked into place with horrifying clarity. 50,000 years ago, when every civilization they had discovered had been mysteriously destroyed, when desperate survivors had carved warnings into their deepest vaults and launched them into space, hoping someone would eventually understand. "Captain," the communications officer suddenly announced, "we're receiving a transmission. It's coming from the entities." "Audio only," Reyes ordered. What filled the bridge wasn't sound in any conventional sense, but something that resonated directly in their minds. It was vast, ancient, and utterly alien, a harmony that spoke of eons spent crossing the dark between galaxies, of worlds consumed and civilizations absorbed. The translation came through their universal communicators as fragmented concepts, new singers, young voices. Time to join the eternal song. "They're heading toward the galactic core," the navigator reported with growing panic. "At their current speed, they'll reach inhabited systems within 6 months. Dr. Chen was frantically cross-referencing her data. "Captain, according to the Keith-Maurian records, these entities don't destroy civilizations outright. They incorporate them, turn entire populations into extensions of themselves, adding their voices to some kind of collective consciousness." The Void Singers continued their inexorable approach, their bioluminescent patterns growing brighter as they detected the presence of the small human vessel. After 50,000 years of travel through empty space, they had found new voices to add to their ancient song. "Get us out of here," Reyes ordered quietly. "Emergency jump to Earth. Maximum priority transmission to Fleet Command." As the Intrepid fled into hyperspace, Reyes realized that humanity's greatest challenge wasn't going to be defeating these entities. It was going to be convincing the galaxy that the ancient warnings were real, that myths could become terrifying reality, and that the Void Singers had finally returned to finish what they had started 50 millennia ago. The warnings had been ignored for too long. Now it was time to prove that sometimes the myths were more real than anyone wanted to believe.